Hello? Echo?
She cracks me up.
So this is Miss Murder McCoo, and she is a Highland cow money box. For the last 2 months, every time I have felt murderous about what these people have been doing, either to myself or to Maureen or anyone else in the community, I have fined myself money, real tangible money.
Stick a quid in it, yeah.
If it was just an urge to go, oh, fuck you, it's £1. But if I'm actually planning where the body should go, then
there's a grassy knoll over there.
And trust me, I do have a body farm planned.
Hello? Echo?
I know I'd be a millionaire.
So that's £10. When you're planning where you put the body, that's a £10 fine. In 2 months, I've saved up so much money that I've been able to buy the most beautiful pair of antique ceramic lamps that are now sitting in my lounge. And when I sit of an evening in my lounge in my lovely happy life and with my beautiful new lamps, I just think, you bitches paid for that. Every single one of these people that is judging at the moment is squeaky clean, are they?
You guarantee there are skeletons in the closet.
That's what I want to say. It's
you know, if we put their lives under the microscope about everything they've ever said and done and every behavior they've ever had, every online interaction they've ever done, are we going to find out that they're saints?
Hello? Echo?
Right.
Well,
No.
What actually struck me was the certain lady in question said she was famous in Belfast and things, you know, and I did have a wee look into it, and I didn't know anybody that knew her or had heard of her. So I wonder what she was famous for, you know.
I would like to know. I mean, you know, and she's one. Like, I will have to say, I fell for her. I mean, I thought she was a victim when I first met her. I thought all these things have happened to her, and you know, and I just thought, well, she's just very outspoken, you know. Boy, did I learn, you know, and she's the last person that I expected to go as far as she did.
Wow.
Just because she's, you know, she has said always, oh, don't involve families, and then and then she drags my literal 8-year-old, and you know, and I mean, and she knows my story and whatnot, but she's taken it. She's told everybody, oh, she's a prostitute. She used to be a prostitute. You know, that's a bunch of baloney. But let's say, even if I was, is that her business to, you know what I mean? Like,
but you could have ended up with the walnut womb.
You know,
I thought that was hilarious, actually. Just because I've got no children, she assumes that I can't have children. Well, I can't now.
Oh yes, I remember she said something about the Baron. Somebody, was it you she was talking about?
Yeah,
that was awful.
Oh, she's wicked. She's wicked. That woman.
I chose not to have children.
That's terrible to even bring that up in any conversation.
Right. Like,
I mean,
how is that something to, you know, how is that ammo to hurt somebody? I mean, it just...
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, how does she not know that Maureen didn't have ovarian cancer at the age of 14 and had everything removed?
Right. And she doesn't care. That's the
what
thing.
I'm saying is, you don't know people's journeys.
Exactly.
No,
It's people
that's what
say
I've
to me,
always said on here.
yeah, people say to me, you'll never pass on your DNA. It's like, well, you don't know I haven't done that already. It's a bit of an assumption, you know what I mean?
Right. You know, I mean, it's... Yeah,
the big world of assumptions is very dangerous.
Yeah.
The big world of assumptions is very dangerous.
Yeah.
So, Maureen, how long has it been since you actually stepped away from the channel? It's been a long time, hasn't it?
I left on December the 13th, 2019 at 4:13.
And they are still giving you hell about it.
Yes.
That's just crazy to me. I mean, what did
But they've embraced another of the administrators within their own realm now. He's totally absolved. So, you know, again, the hypocrisy. Nail Maureen to the wall and Cossack another.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. It seems like some of them are just excused, but yet Maureen is held at this position of, you know, what do they want from you? There's nothing.
Because I'm a vile person. I refused to be told who I could speak to, who I could be friends with.
Well, that's the problem then, right there, right? Because
and it was petty. I liked some of the other admin. I know what they've been through. I know what they've gone through since they've left AD. Robin almost ended her life. Emma had to go into therapy. Jeez. Chris, I won't say what happened to Chris's family because we don't know who did it.
Why won't YouTube do something? Why is this not being listened to?
Not YouTube's problem, is it? The answer is the same as what the police officer told me. Don't go on YouTube.
Well, that's a whole nother thing we could talk about is just law enforcement and their attitude towards this stuff.
I have the tape recorder I have of my conversation with the police the last time is disgusting for a police officer.
Really?
And oddly enough, he's the second time I've spoken to that same officer, and he treated me the same the last time.
I record every conversation.
I did record it.
Yeah, good.
I'm
I saw an opening.
Family, and I'm disgusted with the way Maureen has been treated, and I'm disgusted with the way she was spoken to. And I don't like speaking against law enforcement because my family's law enforcement, my husband was law enforcement, I have friends in law enforcement. And I do keep asking this question over and over again about what can we do to some friends that are still in the job. And they say the problem is the law.
Yep.
Nobody really knows how to deal with it, particularly when you've got people bullying each other and doxing each other and harassing each other who are across oceans from each other because you've got the victim in one continent and the offender in the other, and both sides of the law don't know how to deal with it. What we need is international legislation for social media. International legislation for social media to make platforms accountable for what they allow on their platforms, and to make sure that creators are accountable for what they put out there, and that if you breach it, you're gone.
I agree.
Yeah,
that is the issue. Like whenever I had my whole ordeal with my daughter, I mean, as soon as I called my local, I just started with step one, and as soon as I called my local law enforcement, I mean, they said hands down, listen, if she were here, in this country, we'd send a police officer over now, but unfortunately, she's overseas. You're going to have to do this and this and this and this, and it's just like jumping through hoops.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Sorry, guys, but I had to jump out there. I mean, I just went right at the emergency.
What happened there?
Simon, you were talking, and then it froze roughly about 1 minute, 1 hour 29. I could hear my computer fizzing. Everything. I must be utilizing every part of my programming power. I'm touching every button. I'm thinking, all I'm thinking is, I cannot shut this computer down because it'll cut the whole stream, and I need to have it because I can't.
Just play it occasionally.
So what I done, I went in on my phone.
Oh, okay.
I was backstage and I'm trying to wave and no one's listening. You're talking about this and that. I'm thinking, at least to be professional and cracking on. Hello? Echo? Right, I'm going to reboot my computer.
There's something about when you're on StreamYard and you're talking to someone, you do not look at the chat. You look at the screen, at the person.
It's really resource heavy, and I couldn't see you at
That's
all.
how I miss a lot of comments, because I'm looking at the person that I'm talking to, not the comments.
I mean, to be fair, Maureen, this is why I've done this tonight. It's brilliant. In order to do a pre-recorded stream where we can all chat without any distractions, without anyone on the other side in the comment section throwing out that bit of hate just to discombobulate you. It's so easily done, and we've all fallen for it. And the beauty with this now, this can be edited to our needs. And whatever's going to go out, they're not going to have a say. They're not going to have any control in stopping it.
Yes.
And what's going to come out.
Yeah. Me and Ginger learned that lesson from last time. You told us, man, we might not need ought to do a live stream. And boy, did they come in hard when me and Ginger came on your channel.
Straight for you. And then they turned on me to try and make it out as if I'm basically naive and I don't know what I'm doing in YouTube.
Right.
I said hello in chat, and then I got dogpiled. So I was like, well, I'll leave the chat and just watch.
Yes.
You know, don't give them what they want.
I kind of prefer doing pre-recorded.
Phil, now, the man that likes to harass women and the cult leader of them, he has claimed that you're one of our troll channels now. So
yes.
So now you're a troll channel, just to let you know.
Yeah, you'll be mentioned by
doing it for views and like driving traffic to your channel because you're that desperate. You want
And this is the way I want to get traffic through all the lowest grade nominations. Like, yeah, come in, have a Cooke. You know, it's like, okay, that's the lighter ways of enjoying my life.
But we need to find a way right across the genres, across the whole platform, because this is happening in every genre. I've seen it in knitting channels, for Christ's sake.
Yep.
Family vlogging channels as well. You know, there's a guy called
channels, travel vlogging. Everyone is.
There's a guy called Dad Challenge Podcast, and he's actually calling out family vloggers for their children and child exploitation.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have an interview.
There's mum shaming. You know,
I had an interview a few weeks ago, ladies, and Amber and maybe Simon, but definitely Tracy will know. It was with a spiritualist, a very good friend of mine, Dolly Daydream. She was having some issues, and she was talking to me on the spiritualist conscious side of YouTube. The infighting that's going on there, the egos, the crab pulling, you know, making sure that someone is not as high as you. So we're talking supposedly conscious people who are elevated and risen. There's people.
They can be the worst.
Yes, they absolutely can be.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing it in true crime, and you know, you're seeing it everywhere. Everything's a contradiction.
Yeah, and it's about people's are getting their perspective skewed, and they're losing sight of what's real and what's important, and they're too easily led with they get into something because obviously it's their interest, their hobby, and then they feel comfortable within the community, and then within that community they'll gravitate towards a particular school of thought, and then at some point they lose their perspective, and it's almost as if they don't feel that they should enforce their own moral compass and withdraw and say, I enjoy the subject matter, but I didn't like the delivery of it, or I didn't like what was allowed to go on in the chat or whatever. They feel that they have to stay, and it's almost as if they don't have faith in their own moral compass to say, this isn't for me, I'm off.
Yeah, it goes back to like, I kind of view it also as almost this kind of high school mentality of, oh, I don't want to go against the grain of my, you know, it's crazy. It's like, we're adults. Like, you owe nothing to anybody on here, you know, except for just to be you and you know, like I said, I talk to all kinds of people, and no one's going to tell me who I can't and can't talk to. That's
good to hear.
You know,
you do get a kind of playground tribal thing that happens.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. That's a very good way.
But do you think lockdown has made this worse? That
Yeah.
people have been in their social media too much?
100%.
I think so. And you know, another thing that I've witnessed is that you're not allowed to grow and change on here either. Like, you know, I mean, some of us have been in this community for what, years? You grow and you change, your views change, and you know, they'll pull, if they want to make you a target, they'll pull something out from a year ago, and it's crazy.
You say that, Amber, but you could actually turn the tables on them and pull something out about them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, I'm not prepared to go into this view.
No, I wouldn't do that. But how do they know that we wouldn't?
Yeah, well, it's hard
because,
to.
like I said before, that with my situation, that personal friend of mine is banking on my good character to not lay it all out there for everyone to see.
You've obviously got a very strong moral compass, I can see from here. But today, one of the people that's been like horrifically abusing me for since last October, messages about my partner dying, this, that, and the other, blah blah. He got doxxed today on one of the chat shows, and it was very, very hard not to be like, yes. Well, I would be lying if I didn't said I didn't do that. Because it does mean that person is now responsible for their speech. People know who they are. And when they say things about people's dead relatives, people will know who to look for. People will know who to research, where they work. Do you know what I mean? And although it's bad, they got doxxed. I find it very hard to have any sympathy at all.
That's like the honest
That's a good point.
Accountability, isn't it? If you know what I mean. What we all want is accountability. So if anyone's making any comments or doing streams, put your face out there. Let people know who you are, and then guarantee that will take for what you're saying straight away. A lot of this comes from ghost accounts and people who manipulate the system, create all kinds of ways it eludes it.
I can't wait to be doxxed.
Well,
do it yourself. Do it yourself.
Your address on here or whatever.
I can't wait because.
Go ahead.
My address is all over the internet, but I can't wait for them to dox me.
Well, that's, you know, and it is a fine line because on one end it's like, okay, doxing is wrong because, you know, who knows what psychopath could do what to you. But then on another, like you say, I mean, some of these people that are doing the worst doxing and the worst harassment, it's because they are so hidden. They are so hidden.
They're a known.
Nobody has figured, so they feel bulletproof. You know what I'm saying? So
nobody's bulletproof. Trust me, nobody.
Well, true.
But I witnessed a couple of days ago on in the crime community some disagreement between a female and a male. Both had separate channels, and I don't know who called who, but the police were called to one house because one of them had reported the other one's children that they were being abused.
I've heard of things.
And that was two different states. So police went out to the house. It was total lies, but at the same time, those police were taken away
from an actual crime.
From doing their actual job where they needed.
Yeah, from doing their actual job. And they weren't that happy about being called out to this tit for tat nonsense.
Well, then there should be repercussions for that, shouldn't there? That person should be accountable for falsely making allegations against people.
Yeah. But the allegations that are being flung around on both sides of our true crime community, they're pretty horrific.
Yeah.
There are people, there are people that I know from when I was in the true crime community who have had things said about them that I know aren't true. So somebody in here, in our community, is planting false information and knowing who to plant that information to, because they're a gossip and loose-tongued, and they'll sell it on in a salacious manner, and then the story grows exponentially. None of them have evidence to support anything they say. I learned a long time ago, I don't delete anything. Everything I ever write is recorded and stored because I knew a day like this was going to come again. And I know
for those hard drives.
Yeah. I've just ordered a new hard drive.
Yeah, I've got 4 terabytes of fresh. Yeah.
Well, this is all new to me. I'm a new channel. I've only been here 12 weeks as a channel.
And you've grown really quickly.
And I'm already, I must be buying them.
Hello? Echo?
Of course.
Here again with all this is that the one
I've already admitted half of them are my dog breeding friends from around the world. I'm not that interesting.
The one trait I do see with all this is that Maureen, we were talking about this the other day, is how people play people off one another.
Oh, absolutely.
And we were saying that in ways that you felt that you were purposely being kept apart from individuals by being fed certain information.
If I could get the admins together and do a live stream or a recorded one, since we've talked and since I spoke to Ginger, we now know how played us all off against each other. He would tell Ginger something to do. He would tell me the same thing that needed doing, but he'd tell me to do different. And then Ginger would, we got into an argument. I said, no, AD didn't say that. He said he wanted it like this. And Ginger would say, well, he told me this is what he wants. We'd end up arguing.
I swear
and
some of these people...
This was repeated through all of the admins.
Some of these people have read The Art of War, I tell you. They use spies.
This is classic triangulation, because what he didn't want was any of you to strike up close friendships where you could actually compare notes and say, he's an arsehole.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And that is what we realised since we've left, sat on the outside and watched. I'm horrified because I didn't see it when I was in it.
Yeah.
You know, Maureen, you can't beat yourself up over that.
No, you can't.
Again, decent people go into this with the right intentions, and you
I've
can
been accused of calling people's employers to get their jobs taken away from them. I've never called anyone's employer in my life.
Well, and it's funny that the one that accused you of that has actually done things like that. So,
you
get a lot of projection.
I mean, I can prove, if I've asked for proof, I have my phone bills stored, my mobile phone bills are stored because they're business things. Give me a date and a time and prove that I called them, and I'll check that against my bills. I know that won't be there because I have never done it.
Isn't it crazy? Like, I swear, sometimes some of the accusations that have been said about me, I'm like, okay, where's the proof? Of course, it never comes, but it's, to me, I would never think to throw something so outlandish without saying, hey, here's the proof. Here's when it happened. You know what I mean? Like,
I download my Facebook activity every 3 months into a zip file. So I've got it. I can go back into this zip file and I can find anything. And that is what I advise you to do, because you need to hold on to that. Well, if you're chucked off of Facebook, you have got the evidence in that zip file to back your story up.
Right. Oh, I keep everything. I mean,
I didn't used to, but I have done for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I have been keeping stuff.
You have to, and it's sad, but you do. And then this is what I hate. So then you respond to outlandish accusations, and
I'm not going to use it against people.
Right.
But the stuff I've got will go against and prove what he's done.
Yeah. Well, see, what I'm saying is, like, if somebody makes an accusation towards you, when you respond to it, then they fire back with, oh, see, they just wanted drama. They just want drama. It's like, no, like, don't make me have to keep sticking up for myself, and I won't have to think to make.
We don't want drama. We want the community.
The truth always has to be intact, and that truth is sometimes the biggest, dirtiest mud ball that they're about to throw at you. But then they've still got to frame it as the truth. And anytime, like you said, Amber, you go to critique it, then it's you that's got the problem.
Of
and
course.
In some ways, they'll be the victim, even though they told the lie to entice you back out to say something against it. It's very sophisticated, psychological. And same, and when we're not going into this, knowing these tricks, we're falling for it. I fall for it because I'm a nice person. I deal with nice people. I don't play with people that have mind tricks like this. It's not. I don't deal with that. You know what I mean?
Some people really enjoy it. I think I said before, it's the kind of person that enjoys going into a bar and convincing someone they're a brain surgeon when really they're a bricklayer, and they'd have a much more interesting conversation saying, I'm a bricklayer. But no, they'd rather deceive the other person. But you get people that will have multiple accounts, and there'll be different people on different channels, and then they'll move between the two, and they literally, do you know what I mean? I don't know why
it's crazy that somebody would spend so much time online that they would be,
have the time for more than one personality. Have the time for more than one personality. Yeah.
Well, it's crazy. Like it's surely they must have something else to do.
A teenage boy who did this, and he created he was from Manchester, and he created multiple presences on this site. And he got friendly with a naive boy who didn't really know the world as well as the streetwise kids could. And he found that he could manipulate this boy. So then he turned it into a game. And he then created another character where he was a woman, and she was working for MI5, and she wanted to recruit him. And so it ended up in murder of a boy.
What?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was entertaining to him that he'd found somebody gullible who would believe this nonsense, and he created multiple personalities, convincing this boy that he was doing this test to be accepted for MI5.
Okay.
Outrageous story.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah, outrageous story. It was all about the Queen's gold that was sunk in the ocean during the Second World War, and and it was just entertainment to see how he could manipulate this person. And I have been saying this on my channel for some time. There are people within our true crime community who are doing this for entertainment. They are playing with people, setting them off against each other, finding the gullible ones who will believe all sorts of nonsense.
Oh, trust me, they are. I've seen it first. I've seen what.
But it's going both ways, Amber. It's not just, we can't just say it's from that side only. It's happening both ways, and I believe that at the heart of it, there are a couple of personalities who are playing both sides, but with different personas and online presences, and it's all a game for them. It's just
believe me,
entertainment.
Yep.
Like you say, you're hitting people at a vulnerable level now. A lot of people are in the house, they're online more and more. A lot of people are online for searching for answers. They're trying to red pill. So they are susceptible to being groomed. They are susceptible to narcissists and, people who want to manipulate them online. And the one positive I've seen from all this, as with tonight, I'll say again, this has been monumental for me, and thank you again for your time, is the collaborations that form through the negative elements of what you've all been through. I mean, do you want to talk about that briefly, guys, before we call it?
Yeah.
I mean, all the positives getting together, Amber, the love, people coming over to me because I've shown support, and the love I've seen from that, and same with Dolly, same with Simon. There seems to be a lot of amalgamated right now of good people that are pissed off with all this online abuse.
Absolutely.
I think there is more people pissed off with it that won't say in public.
Yeah.
Life's hard enough right now. Life's hard enough for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
It's a bad day when people have to message you privately and say, I support you, but I can't do it in public.
Oh, I've gotten plenty of those. Plenty of just, and
I was guilty of that. That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I sent you an email saying, please don't make this public, but and that was why I ended up making my video, because I knew that was wrong.
Well,
no point supporting you privately. When it's wrong, and you should be able to stand up and say, this is wrong.
That's true. But you know what? I've never given people a hard time about it, just because I feel like I kind of get it to an extent. They just don't want hate. They don't want harassment, and I can't blame them, but
if it comes in a big wave as well, if you're going against someone, I think Phil knows as well, you can get the troll army and you don't want it pointing at you. It's like,
what do you do on your channel, Simon?
Take the mickey mostly.
Oh,
I try and do kind of comedy, and
what's it called? I could do with a laugh.
I still hate it here. # change my mind. It's I basically started doing stuff at Speaker's Corner, and then when people had a fight, I'd set it to Benny Hill music and and take the mickey a bit, and try and lighten it up. And at the moment, it's become a bit of like Phil said, this stuff can change you, and at the moment it's almost dedicated to the person that is harassing me the most, because I tend to make videos in response, although they're I try and keep it amusing.
I think you're approaching it very well, considering the energy that you're getting back on the other side. I've met you with the Finger the Beacon guy. With what you're doing, the way you do it, that's why I'm more than happy with supporting what you're doing. The other reason why you're in it as well, because there's a lot of women around you that you totally support, that you can see are getting viciously abused online. And that's keeping you in the game, mate. And that, that is the most honourable thing, when you can stand up for people when they're going through this.
One thing I would like to point out is, have y'all ever thought about this? I've always wondered if everybody let's just take our community for example. If everybody met at, let's say, a convention center and you saw one another face to face, would you still squabble about some of these? I mean, of course, the more serious things like the major abuse, that's never ever something light, but some of these other little squabbles that happen, it's like, this would so never be a big deal in real life. Like,
people would never say the same thing.
Crime con, we wouldn't have all been swinging punches at each other, would we?
No,
I think I would probably be arrested.
Hello, Echo.
Maureen always has a taser in her own bag.
If I was able to come up to face to face,
slap.
Yeah, I do actually want to slap that man's face really hard.
Maureen, I can see from your point how you feel. You feel you've been used and exploited.
No, I don't feel he's abused me. I want to slap him for what he's done to other people.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there's a few that I would like to slap, so I can't.
And the way he treated one of the admin, who was very good to him, that'll be the second slap.
I don't know. You see, I just want to. I suppose I'm a bit of a hippie idealist. I would
because
love
he's going to walk away
draw
with this.
a line and say that was then. Everything that happened before this day's date at this time happened, and there's nothing we can do about it. But moving forward, can we all just try not to be arseholes to each other? That's what I would like.
Yeah.
It's positive from a negative. What I always try to do. No matter what's gone on in your life, I'm not going to become a product of that. Now, certainly, I know when sometimes not to fight. He who fights and walks away is,
the stronger.
Or whatever it is, something along them lines. But to me, when I see that negative energy, just move on. I've had to do what Amber and no doubt you guys have as well. When you follow a certain genre and you've moved about, because it's got a little bit sticky, you've ended up having to rebrand yourself. So that in some ways leaves you in a bit of no man's land in terms of content, where you want to go, the support base you want, and what you can do with yourself. And what I've tried to do is realise what I really want to do and what I best represent, and then move forward with that. And by doing that, I've ultimately pushed aside what was old anyway, and I've suddenly recreated myself, and it's still a job in, progress by any means. But I know what you mean about the experience. You have to carry that experience with you because it's part of what you are, it's part of your makeup. I just try not to let it become too much of a heavy burden on me. Otherwise, I'll just come offline. I would rather just live my life and not have anything to do with it. Can't.
I've got to leave social media. I've been told to leave social media.
No, I've been told that before.
Sorry,
nobody wants me here.
I just self-edited a rude word.
Nobody likes me. Everybody, everyone hates you. It's so mean. I could never. I don't know. It's just mean.
No one should be forced off social media, especially if you're. I mean, a lot of people have to spend time from home, work at home, are carers. It is a form of social life as well as information. And a form of community. So you shouldn't, the first response from the police shouldn't be, well, stay offline then. It's like, but do you realise these people will make multiple accounts, stalk you on Google Hangouts, you'll get unsolicited emails, and you're constantly blocking people. And it shouldn't be you that's forced away.
That's the sort of problem anyway, Simon, because the person that's targeting you will just target someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not solved anything.
Well, let's just say, if we were successful and it happened, this ridiculous YouTuber is actually gone from YouTube, what are all these people going to do? They're going to be sitting there, I've got idle hands. Who can we go after now?
Yeah,
and they'll be the next person.
They do. Yeah. They just move on to person, especially that particular woman, who she goes from person to person. Who
with the same script.
Like I say, for me, if there's anything positive that's come out of this, it's positive people that have experienced it, moved away from it, and now creating their own home somewhere else. That's what I see, and that is brilliant. You know what I mean?
But people have to remember that you're responsible for your happiness. Don't let someone else take your happiness away. Don't let someone come into your day and rob you of a good day for 2 minutes of their meanness.
Good point.
They're not that important. These are online people. This isn't someone who's coming through your door and you're sitting down eating dinner with and conversing with. These are online people.
Yep.
So, especially at a time like this when so many of us are still locked down and shielding and whatever, don't let them come in and ruin your day. Choose not
because that is literally what they want.
Take that from you.
That is what they want.
You are giving them the reaction. They're actually getting a dopamine boost from achieving.
From knowing that they put some misery in your day.
Yeah. I mean, one of the guy that we've been having the problems with, someone came onto his channel and sat there and kind of said, well, these trolls, they'll stop at nothing. They'll use people's dead family members. And because that's exactly what they were doing, everyone was like, oh my God, can you believe he just said that? And it's like, yes, I can. And I'm not going to let it raise my blood pressure because that is what they want. I mean, to some people, it will be like, oh, they just can't get over the kind of audaciousness of what has just been said because that is directly what they're doing. But because it's like, so I've just gone through a threshold. I realise that's exactly what they want, and that doesn't bother me. Do you know what I mean?
I shared my little secret with Maureen earlier today. I have a money box shaped like a Highland cow.
You have a money box shaped like what?
A Highland cow. I'll introduce her to you.
This is brilliant. I'm going to actually do this. It's brilliant.
Right.
She cracks me up.
So this is Miss Murder McCoo, and she is a Highland cow money box.
When do you put money in her?
Oh, by yeah.
In the top.
All right.
For the last 2 months, every time I have felt murderous about what these people have been doing, either to myself or to Maureen or anyone else in the community, I have fined myself money, real tangible money.
Stick a quid in it, yeah.
If it was just an urge to go, oh, fuck you, it's £1. But if I'm actually planning where the body should go.
Hello? Echo?
There's a grassy knoll over there.
Yeah.
And trust me, I do have a body farm planned.
I know I'd be a millionaire.
So that's £10. When you're planning where you put the body, that's a £10 fine. In 2 months, I've saved up so much money that I've been able to buy the most beautiful pair of antique ceramic lamps that are now sitting in my lounge. And when I sit of an evening in my lounge in my lovely happy life and with my beautiful new lamps, I just think, you bitches paid for that.
And I didn't get a criminal record.
That is freaking brilliant. I hope they all get to hear that bit because that is brilliant.
You know what? I'm going to put that bit at the very beginning.
Good.
Because that is the positive spin to it. With that kind of mentality, you could be on a yacht in the middle of the Bahamas within 2 years.
You know?
With the
next year, Rodders.
You know, imagine people serving you, go, right, this is for Fantastic. Listen, guys, this has been absolutely amazing. I hope you've enjoyed it yourselves.
Oh, it's been good. This has been fun.
Yeah, when I had the police rounds the other day, I basically said, turn your body cams on, and I presented them everything on my computer, the troll lists, the full shebang. And then when he said, don't let it turn into a to and fro, don't mention them on your channel. And I said, well, I'm trying to do this. And I showed them the last thing that we did. Do you know what I mean? And he said, I'm not just going to run away and hide, but I'm not going to make that nasty video saying go after this man. But at the same time, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be able to speak and have conversations like this and speak about the subject and, stay on topic and it not turn into a tit for tat.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did they tell you that for a reason? Don't do this to them. When we first reported that person we want off of YouTube, that was the first thing the police said to me. Do not have any contact with the other channels. Do not comment on the comments. Have no contact with any of them. And that is what we did for about 6 months.
Yeah, I've already done that. I've never been subscribed to the channel. I've never typed in the chat. But it continues to pump out stuff about me.
Because once you start conversing with them and commenting on the channel, you have literally wiped your case out.
That's what this particular individual is aiming for. He gets more and more outrageous and tries to bring you on. So yeah, I'm just not interacting.
I got some good advice on Friday because I received a threatening email from someone who should know better.
Did you?
Oh, wow. Really?
And the advice I got was send it immediately to that person's internet provider.
Okay. That's interesting.
It's Malicious Communications Act and the internet provider will deal with that person. And that is, I've not responded to it. Nobody has known about its existence. And that piece of advice, I couldn't find that anywhere. And it's for anybody who's receiving hate that way. The internet, send it to the person's internet provider.
Because that's accountability again, isn't it?
Yes.
It's suddenly making them accountable when there wasn't 5 minutes before that. They had nothing to do with it. Now it's like, this is your service. You can see what's being done on it.
You've allowed this person to make this threat using your service. And this is what I would like to see on social media. That you can send that to the platform that's providing the stage for people to do these hatred things. Put it in their court.
You need a license to drive a car, don't you? I mean, some people should have ASBOs. Like you are not allowed near computer equipment because you do bad things. Because you do bad things.
And I found too, like, I mean, people not only they weaponize their platform, and then they weaponize their audience. Like that day,
Yeah.
my little girl got dragged. I mean, she was saying things like, if any of you subs, any of my loyal subs feel tempted to do any of these things I'm saying, I'm just not going to stop you.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
just weaponizing. And like I've seen, and besides her, I mean, I've seen other, like, I think creators forget they have a responsibility. When you have a large channel, your voice, I mean, people listen to you. And when you drag somebody, you
will get someone mobbed.
You're swaying several other people to think this. And it's not right.
But they don't think about the ripple effect of that behavior.
Yeah.
They drop it and they think it will just go to, their closest loyal subs. But then those closest loyal subs will have a conflab with God knows who. And you don't know who then that information's going to, who's going to get so riled up that they might enter your real world.
Right.
Do something to you.
It's dangerous. It's so
very
dangerous.
That's the problem I'm having. It's moved into my real world.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was excellent. That was epic. It's probably the best way of putting it. I enjoyed the engagement, the stories, albeit of a low energy, but you can see the strength that's coming through that. I'd like to thank each and every one that come into that chat. Tracy, Simon, Maureen, Morag, not forgetting Amber as well. A big hi to Ginger. Hope you get well soon. This has been Red Pill Phil, covering the lowest energy as ever. It's almost like I love it, innit? But I don't. It's awful. That's why we're talking about it shining a light. So thank you very much. I love you all, even the pissing haters.
I love you. 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 I love you.
Even the pissing haters.
I love you. 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 I love you.